Margot?
Hi, Veronica.
Don't you live in Portland?
I did, but I relocated. Had some unfinished business to attend to. Is there like an actual detective I can talk to? Because I just found something very... Hey!
Margot, can we talk?
I think you know I have nothing to say to you.
I just want us to get on the same page.
Yeah, pretty sure we aren't even reading the same book.
Look, I wasn't entirely supposed to send you that journal. It took some string pulling and I didn't expect
Well, how nice for you that you have so many strings to pull. I guess that's what happens when you work for the enemy, though. Right?
You and I want the same thing. Don't you know that?
How in the world can we want the same thing when every piece of evidence in our friend's murder, right down to the stab marks I just found in her name at the tree in his family's yard, points to Paul, who you had to go and get fucking married to?
I know you think it's a betrayal.
It's the Moby Dick of betrayals, actually.
I know you think you know everything there is to know, Margot, about Sadie and Paul and this town. But you don't, okay? That summer after Sadie died, you got to go back home to your family in Maryland. I was here. I've been here. I saw things. You didn't. Dealt with stuff you didn't have to. This has affected my whole life, too.
She was my best friend.
Oh, and you never let me forget it. But I bet you have very strong coffee that I know more about what happened to her than you do.
Okay. Try me.
This is The Crime at Camp Ashwood. Episode 4. LOML.
The first night it happened to her, Samantha heard Misty Willis's scream just as she woke. But it wasn't just a scream that woke her. It was the feeling of someone's hands on her body.
Someone was in her bed?
No one was there. Just the feeling running along her back and down her legs.
Ew.
That night, Samantha chalked it up to being sore from the swim contest she'd pushed herself in a few hours earlier. Maybe it was twitchy muscles, she told herself. But the next night, the feeling was back. Just as she was finally drifting off to sleep, Samantha felt a finger trace down the edges of her spine. She shivered awake and screamed, "Stop!" Her cabin mates woke, too. They tried to calm her down, but also thought that she might have been going a little crazy. Until the next night when...
It happened again?
All 4 girls in that cabin were dead asleep at 4 in the morning, when they all felt what Samantha had. Strange hands grabbing them on their wrists, throats, and legs. The girls were so scared that they had to be moved to different cabins for the rest of the summer, which was the saddest part of the whole haunting. They'd once been the best of friends, but by the end of camp, they'd all moved their separate ways. The cabin was eventually scrubbed clean and repainted for good measure, and when a new set of campers arrived the next summer, there wasn't a phantom touch to be found in the night. Not that anyone has felt yet, at least. The end for tonight.
June, how true are any of these?
Well, I wasn't there, so I don't know. Just stories passed down. You can't have camp without ghost stories, right?
Right.
You girls get some sleep. I have places to be.
Places? With who?
Good night.
Night, June. I need major sleep tonight. Got the archery contest tomorrow.
Yeah, I have decorations committee for the dance. And Sadie, since you're off probation and you owe me from initiation night, you're going to join.
Fair enough.
So you should be getting some sleep then too.
I will. I'm just not tired. June got me all riled.
No sneaking out though, right?
No way. I learned my lesson.
Good.
I think I'll just write a little bit in the journal. Do you have it?
Oh, yeah. Here.
Hey, nobody else has ever seen this, right?
What? Who would have seen it?
I don't know. I guess I'm feeling a little like I'm being monitored by the camp powers that be since the grounding.
I don't think anyone is reading our journal. It's not like it's a James Bond movie, Sadie.
So I don't have to start writing my juicy confessions in invisible ink yet?
I don't think that stuff actually works.
Yeah, it does. You just hold whatever's written in it up to heat, like a light bulb, and it shows up. I use it all the time to pass notes at school.
Feels overboard, but you do you.
Yeah, you're probably right. Not worth spending the camp canteen cash.
I look forward to reading your juicy confessions tomorrow.
I aim to please. Night, Margot.
Night.
June 19th, 2003, 1:15 a.m. I'm officially a free woman. It has been exactly 1 hour and 15 minutes since my punishment week ended. Thank God, because once I'd painted my toenails and ravaged Margot's amazing selection of drugstore hair conditioning treatments, thanks, Margot, there wasn't much left to do but marinate in my own thoughts. Mostly about him. I guess what I'm saying is, I said it was gonna be the summer of love. And I was dead on. I don't totally know what love looks like, of course. I mean, is the stuff they show you in movies what it's supposed to be like in real life? If someone is the one, do they stay that way forever? Paul says you know you're in love when you think about the person as soon as you very first wake up, and that he always thinks of me then. I think that might be what boy love is, though. Because for me, the way I feel love is that I just totally lose my mind. I sneak out and get caught or get detention for skipping class or end up grounded for months for practically running my bike off the road to get to his house. When I love someone, it feels like I'm so excited I can't breathe, much less think. Like I have no choice in the matter at all, which is the only way it might have ever happened for me. By force, kind of. Because, believe it or not, I've been a little overcautious in the past. I know everyone who meets me assumes I've always been some boy-crazy flirt, but I wasn't sure I was ready for men. I mean, something about being a cheerleader with an active social life gave an impression to guys that I was ready for a lot more than I was. They'd seen girls who looked like me on TV get labeled as fast or even slutty. My awareness of their assumptions made me even more careful than I might have been otherwise. I'd been catcalled enough names walking down the street. I knew who men thought I was. And I was not ready to be that. So I avoided them. Until I met one I couldn't say no to. This year, when Paul brought me a handful of daisies he'd picked from his mama's yard and a hand-drawn card for Valentine's Day with a little P.S. while you go to the movies with me written in chicken scratch on the bottom, it was so innocent and cute and sweet, childish even, in a way that was kind of a relief. I knew I could trust him, so I said yes immediately, and I'm so glad I did. Because having him in my life has been this incredible gift.
He just understands what I'm going through better than anyone else right now. I'd do almost anything for him. See?
See what? That Paul made Sadie a handmade card for Valentine's Day in 10th grade? Scandalous, Margot. I think you've really cracked the case.
No, this whole entry is full of classic red flags. I'd do almost anything for him. I just totally lose my mind. She was clearly on some kind of roller coaster cycle of abuse with him.
You're making a lot of assumptions.
Well, have you seen the stab marks in her name at the tree by his dad's house?
Yeah, I have. And I've been telling Paul to get his dad to cut that tree down for years. But it isn't evidence. Paul didn't make those marks. We think it was some random teenagers from town being assholes.
Do you just believe anything he says?
And Margot, even if we lived in a universe where Paul had put those stab marks in that tree, it wouldn't prove a damn thing about the case. You know that. I know you know that. You've got to stop trying to force this stuff. It's too much. I know you never liked him. Even when we were kids.
So I'm thinking it's a lake theme for obvious reasons. We get some canoes and put them around, maybe little fishing rod centerpieces.
Lake is not a theme, Margot.
We are at a lake.
Right, but this is a dance. It needs to be romantic.
Not everyone who goes to the dance has a date. It's really supposed to be a night with camp friends. That's what it's been every other year we've been here.
You're going with JJ, though.
Yeah, but half of the dance attendees are like 8 years old, Sadie. They're not thinking about boyfriends and romance. They just want cupcakes and some Britney Spears to dance to.
It's just a big night for...
You and Paul. I know.
No, it's... Jeez, Margot, what is this bias against him? He's JJ's best friend, you know, and you like JJ. You have every reason to like Paul, too. You're rocking the canoe for no reason here.
So what I'm hearing you say is we can go with the canoe decor.
Oh, no, wait. I know. A Moulin Rouge theme.
Oh, I love that movie. You guys making inroads in the decoration plans?
We're debating theme. Which do you think says dance more? Live bait on fishing rods or the most romantic movie of the decade?
Mind you, the movie is about a prostitute
I mean, I think the choice is clear.
who dies. Tragically.
But she dies knowing she found the love of her life. I mean...
So true. God. I really need to get a boyfriend. What if I die without meeting the LOML?
I thought we were each other's LOMLs.
No, we're each other's Lilases. LOML is romantic, sexy love.
But I thought you said... Never mind. I just think both are equally important.
You're right. But we can cater to both for the dance. You can scream along to Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend with a Lilas and make Moon Eyes with a LOML to come what may. Nobody wants to do anything in a canoe, Margot. Be serious.
I did pack a box of red hair dye.
See, this is gonna be perfect. It's meant to be. I gotta go tell Paul so we can coordinate outfits.
We're not done planning, though. Fucking Paul. She's obsessed.
He's a hottie. I get it.
Ugh.
You're biased. And I understand why. He was the most obvious person to blame when she died. And I know it would be a lot easier if there was a person to blame here so everyone could get some semblance of closure. But just because you want it to be true doesn't mean it is.
I might be biased. But you are too. Let's say you're right, and Paul didn't hurt Sadie. Let's say there's some other guy out there who did this. I still don't see how you could marry him. The grass had barely grown over her grave when I heard you guys were going out.
It didn't look good. I know that.
Honestly, this is going to sound really bad, but back then I thought maybe you'd been involved too, with what happened to her.
Wow.
You were so obsessed with getting a boyfriend, and then all of a sudden she died and you had hers. Look, it was a very teenage thing of me to think. I know you didn't hurt her. But just thinking it, and then watching you stay with him and double down. A wedding when you were barely 21? And then working for the police station that basically threw her case on the shelf from day one? I couldn't be around it. And I still don't understand it. At all.
All I can say about me and Paul is that we really needed each other. We went through this trauma losing Sadie at the same time, and we both wanted to get justice.
Ugh, come on, really?
Really. There's no one in the world who wants that case solved more than Paul does. Not even you.
Bullshit.
I let you say your piece, Margot. Now please, let me tell you mine.
Thank you for listening to this episode of The Crime at Camp Ashwood. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss a single episode. If you'd like to support this podcast so we can keep making more episodes, click the support link in the show notes. To learn more about this and all our projects, visit our production company websites, dragonhunterproductions.com and newgirlpictures.com. Thank you for listening.